Hello, I'm Coercer, and we are watching games from ArtifactCup number 26. Right now we are in the semifinals, and we watched the first game between Majiir and BBI Iain. So let's load up the second game, and this one will be played on Clash Teeth. BBI Iain is playing as the Coalition, and Majiir Block 2 is playing random, so it'll be interesting to see as what race he will spawn. We'll be watching this from Majiir's point of view. Now in the previous game, BBI Iain won by capturing all of the 5 artifacts. So we'll see how this game will play out. Now Clash Teeth is a pretty small map, and usually it comes down to some early game rushes. Let's see what will happen. Majiir has spawned in as the Coalition down in the south, and up in the north we have BBI Iain also as the Coalition. So we are now presented with a mirror matchup. Majiir immediately recycles his base runner, while Iain is presumably going to try and capture or pick up this artifact that's closest to Majiir. Let's see exactly what's going on. Well, it seems that Majiir is going to go for some AAV aggression, and there we go, that is the AAV tech being researched by him. Iain, I assume, is going to do the same. AAV rush is quite a common opener for Coalition players, so that's not really a big surprise, but we will see how this will all play out. Iain has a light attack vehicle out on the field. He is sending one of his soldiers to break up the first expansion. Majiir already has one full salvager of resources, and the second salvager is now coming in, so he is long hauling from that location, while Iain is just now breaking up his first bulkhead. Majiir has built 2 LAVs, and I assume he's going to poke around here to see what's going on. He spots the base runner and will probably try to deal as much damage as he can to it, and we'll see if Iain will plop down a turret to take out these attack vehicles, or if he's just going to back off with that base runner. A AV is now out on the field for Majiir, so any lone LAVs that will come in should be taken care of quite quickly, and Majiir is immediately moving those LAVs away from Iain's base runner and Iain's turret post. He's going to try and deny any mining from this first expansion on Iain's side, and Majiir's AVs are now moving through the middle, and they will probably try and destroy that base runner, or force that base runner to move around so it doesn't get picked up by those AVs. Majiir's LAVs now scouting a bit, so Majiir will see exactly where he needs to move those AVs to, and it looks like Majiir is losing his LAVs in this engagement. Iain lost one as well, so that's a score of 1-1 concerning LAV kills, but Majiir's AVs are now moving in on Iain's mace. They killed one salvager, and if Iain doesn't do something very quickly, those AVs will just destroy most, if not almost all of those, most if not all of these salvagers. Iain has immediately constructed a turret post from the base runner that just popped out. Majiir is now using smoke to move in closer to the turret post and take it take it out before it can deal too much damage. And Iain is now retreating his forces to back up his carrier. Iain has constructed a railgun, so that should help in the defense of his base. The Majiir is putting down some smoke to make sure that that AAV stays alive as long as possible. It seems that Majiir has taken out 3 salvagers, which is quite a good score for a raiding party like that. But Iain is now looking to capture the artifacts. He has now picked up 2 artifacts and is heading towards his extraction zone. Majiir could potentially kill the Space Runner, but it will probably get away behind those dunes here before it will be killed. But Majiir also has railguns on the field, and the railguns just take out the Base Runner before it can hide behind the dune and get to safety. Both players seem to have had a pretty similar game plan. Majiir now out on the field with LAVs leading the charge towards Iain's main, while Majiir is moving in AAV and 2 railguns through the back. So the LAVs should provide some vision, and Majiir should be able to identify targets of opportunity with those railguns. He immediately tries to take out Iain's railguns with his own. That one railgun has a smidgen of life remaining, and now Iain's carrier is just cleaning up that little incursion, and Majiir did take out that damaged railgun in the end. It seems that this raid wasn't quite as successful as Majiir had hoped, and Majiir is going to clean up his backyard, going to kill the turret post that's causing him some trouble here, and effectively blocking off this artifact pickup point. Iain still has a Base Runner remaining out on the field, and let's see if he'll remain as active with his Base Runner as he did in the previous game. He launches a probe to scout around to see if Majiir has expanded to his second expansion. While all of that action was going on, Majiir was constructing a support cruiser, and now he can move his carrier up to the second bulkhead, so he'll be able to mine more efficiently. Majiir now has 2 production queues, so that should speed up his production. He is building railguns and salvagers to strengthen his economic position, and to, of course, make sure that he has a superior force on the field. Iain seems to have been quite hurt by those attacks. He has 2 AAVs and 2 railguns on the field, so Majiir currently has the superior force, and he should be able to keep it that way if he manages to snipe off any targets of opportunity out on the field. And Majiir is now looking to take out this Base Runner. Of course, if he sees it, I think he should see the ping, if not the icon itself. But that AAV and that railgun are just hanging out there, probably just a little bit out of range. And as soon as the Base Runner appears, the railguns open fire, and that Base Runner should go down momentarily. Majiir has constructed a second support cruiser. Now it is currently rallied over here to the middle, but it will probably be diverted to one of the expansions to help with mining. Iain is for now just sitting in his base, building up his forces, hoping to get a bigger force so he can push out from his side of the map, while Majiir is blocking off Iain's extraction zone and expanding his mining operation. Iain repositioning some AAVs to guard his main, so that is going down to any LAV drive-bys. And not much else going on right now. Iain positioning a probe just above this ridge, and it looks nice. Iain is now also trying to just expand as fast as he can, so he doesn't fall behind economically. Let's see what Majiir is up to production wise. He has a missile battery in production. He has researched. He didn't research railgun mega accelerator yet, so it seems that he isn't really focusing on those railguns, or he was just more worried about getting that missile battery up in case Iain is going for the same tactic as in the previous game, where he just massed air units and basically denied anything that Majiir had on the ground. Majiir has now rebuilt his base runner. Pretty sure he didn't build one yet, so he is now looking to pick up an artifact. And even the score, artifact wise, Iain is currently ahead 1-0. Iain just being very cautious with his forces, moving them into cover, poking out a bit to see what's going on. And Majiir being proactive. It's a little raiding party of LAVs, taking out these exposed salvagers before Iain's AVs can come in and block their escape. So Majiir making sure that Iain doesn't have the luxury of making decisions without any pressure on him. So LAVs just being a nuisance, moving behind the dune, so the AV can't take them out quickly. But this raiding party should go down to all of this firepower fairly quickly. At this point it's just a distraction. Majiir picking up 2 artifacts with 2 base runners, and he should be trying to raise those base runners to his extraction zone, being cautious with the furthest one so it doesn't get picked off by Iain's forces that Majiir knows are somewhere hovering somewhere around the middle. But this base runner is just trying to get as close to the extraction zone as it can, while Majiir is moving up his forces to provide some cover, and also moving in with his carrier. And Majiir's carrier has just 2 power currently. His repair systems are online, and that could be troubling if Iain's force just tries to focus on that carrier. Majiir has now added 1 power to the active armor, so his carrier is a bit more tanky. But then again, Majiir has a large force on the field, just waiting for something to pop up. It should be quite interesting to see, once these armies are out on the field, how this clash will go down. It seems the AAVs have the 2nd armor upgrade, so they should be quite tanky. And as soon as these Iain's forces are spotted, Majiir's railguns open fire and immediately deal damage. So Iain is not quite confident to move out on that front with those forces, while Majiir is massing LAVs, railguns, and a small screening force of AAVs. Majiir has a 3rd base runner out. He looks like he's just going to pick up all 3 artifacts at once and then try and capture them one after the other in his extraction zone. Majiir now moving out his forces. The LAVs will probably run some disruption, moving into the force first, so the railguns will target them instead of Majiir's railguns or AAVs. And as we all know, LAVs are quite a nuisance for any kind of railgun, and they survive very long because the railguns can't hit them accurately, and that has worked. Iain's railguns are retreating, trying to stay away from Majiir's LAVs, while Majiir moves in his force to his extraction zone, picking off strangling units, and those 3 base runners are going to capture all 3 artifacts, so that should provide a nice buff to Majiir's carrier. And Iain trying to sneak in those 2 AAVs. I mean, I say trying, but he did sneak in those 2 AAVs, and they should be able to deal quite some damage. Majiir chasing them with 3 AAVs of his own, and he is popping smoke directly on top of those salvagers to block those AAVs from firing on them. And Majiir now focus firing Iain's armored assault vehicle, so I'm fairly confident that that backstabber won't deal that much damage. In the meantime, Majiir just moving in with his forces. He has taken out that army of Iain's that is now just dealing economic damage. He took out that support cruiser, he's taking out salvagers, and all he needs to be careful of now is this large stream of LAVs coming in on the Majiir side of the map. Iain is just pumping out LAVs like no tomorrow, and those can be quite effective if they can run in a railgun line, as we have seen a bit earlier. Let's see how this engagement will go down. Majiir trying to take out that support cruiser, and it seems that he could have taken it out, but now the LAVs are in the range, and Majiir is rearranging his forces, making sure the carrier comes in first, so the railguns can take pot shots at these LAVs. Majiir has 9 power that he has not yet assigned. Iain has an absolutely massive blob of LAVs, but seems to be a bit too afraid to use them at the moment, while Majiir has a nice mix of units, a proper army if you will, and also an assault cruiser on the field, and that assault cruiser should deal quite nicely with any blobbed units, especially with LAVs, as long as it doesn't get focused by the carrier. And Iain launching a cruise missile, decimating Majiir's attacking force, but it didn't quite deal as much damage as it could have. And now Iain moves in with his LAVs. Majiir's assault cruiser goes down to the carrier as soon as it is focused, and Majiir has now rearranged his power levels, and he should be able to tank any damage that Iain puts out. But Iain is now also fully powered. His reactive armor, his carrier is now regening, as well as having gained a lot of armor. But Majiir is now placing down turrets to support his forces. Majiir has railguns on the field, and those should be able to deal quite some damage to Iain's powered up defensive carrier. And it looks like Majiir has the superior force and enough firepower to punch through all of that armor, and Iain's carrier goes down at long last. So Majiir wins the second game. He dealt quite nicely with Iain's advances. Iain seems to have been off balance in this game. Majiir using those small raiding parties to make sure that Iain can't focus on the big picture and on his game plan, and that paid off quite nicely. Let's see what happens in the final game of this matchup.